Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. Today I bring you another community replay, courtesy of Chiligamez17. Good friend of mine. I believe he, on his YouTube channel, just passed the 500 subscriber milestone. So, after you're done watching this video, why not go check his channel out if you haven't already. You'll find a link in the description below. Chiligamez is an excellent player, particularly when it comes to playing cruisers. He's certainly much better at getting the most out of them than I am. And he is going to get quite a bit out of this Flint here. He's going to answer the question that I'm sure is on the minds of some people, and that is, what is the carry potential of the Flint? As we all know, cruisers are the class of ships with the highest DPM, damage per minute, in the game. They can lay down the hurt on the enemy ships if they are given the opportunity to do so. And of course, they're very good at countering the destroyers, which, as I've said many times before, are probably the most influential ship class in the game, especially when it comes to domination mode games, and that's what we have here. Some cruisers are very capable of carrying a game, others are not. Well, what about the Flint? We'll come back to that later. In any case, Chili has taken up a strong position here near the island, deployed a smoke screen, and he is shooting at the enemy Leander, who appears to have sailed out of his own smoke screen and is now reversing back in. Torpedoes have been sent the way of the Leander. No telling whether they will hit, but it's nice that they can be launched so far. You saw the damage that Chili was getting off of that Leander. I think a couple of those salvos hit him for about 4K. Lightly armored cruisers are quite susceptible to this golden shower of HE spam, but where heavily armored battleships are of course concerned, you can see 29 shatters, 9 penetrating hits there, and a single fire. So, you know, when you're shooting at the enemy battleships, you gotta be aiming up at that superstructure in order to get HE shell penetration damage. Otherwise, your shells are going to shatter for the most part on the battleship's side armor, and you're only going to be able to rely on fires to chew away their hit points. Now, a little bit about Chili's choice to deploy a smokescreen here. Notice how close he is to an island. He can just sit inside of the smokescreen until it's about to expire, shoot at the enemy ships, and then when the smokescreen does run out, he has that island to go behind and hide. One of the things about the Flint, and Chili is going to demonstrate that to us later, is that it does not take very well at all to being shot. Now, of course, as the Jinglesism, is that the right word? Jinglesism? As the Jinglesism goes, cool ships don't look at explosions. That Leander, he goes down, and Chiligamez gets his first kill, wasting no time whatsoever in laying down more fire on the King George. Some enemy torpedoes come sailing through the gap, undoubtedly launched by the Leander, and, well, maybe they weren't launched by the Leander, but they don't hit anybody. King George goes down. Chiligamez decides he's not a cool ship anymore, so he does look at the explosion, launching some torpedoes out there in case that other enemy battleship is inclined to come around the corner. Maybe he'll catch some. Either way, lobbing shells over the island here at the Bayern, and turning around to probably put that other island between himself and the two enemy battleships, or the single Bayern should he decide to come around the corner. Got another fire going that brings the total count up to 10. and 278 main battery hits. So, not a bad fire starting ratio, right? Yeah, sure. Anyway, Chili does tell me that he's running Norm Scott on the Flint here with a full offensive build, and I assume that given our discussions on my last stream, he joins me on my stream sometimes, I try to join him on his as well, but given our discussion, I assume he is using the skill on Norm Scott in the first line that increases the chance for your shells to start a fire when they hit a target. Given that these shells are so floaty, you can see how easily they clear that ridiculously tall mountain peak out there. That's not something that most cruisers could achieve, but that of course does have the downside of making these shells incredibly difficult to aim at long range. Although, some people have accused me of not being able to aim well. I don't know, you be the judge on that, but I can't hit anything at ranges of like 13 kilometers with these ridiculous floaty American shell arcs. Icarus out there appears. Chiligames is shooting at him. He is kind of out there, but Chili scores at least one hit on the Icarus, so, that's better than nothing. Got an enemy Helena coming around the corner, though, and now, for the first time in this game, Chili is about to start taking fire. Now, you can see that the enemy has secured 2 caps to his team's 1. They outnumber him on ships significantly, so his team has collapsed around him, and there's very little he can do in the Flint. You can see that he's been reduced to about half of his hit points in the span of a couple of seconds just by a Helena and another cruiser shooting, I think, mostly HE at him. So this ship, it doesn't stand up well to anything. Chiligames does nab the Confederate medal there with that last shot on the Helena, who has now disappeared. And we see another problem with the Flint, which is that it does rely on teammates to spot targets for it so that it can hide inside of a smoke screen and rain down fire on them. Since there's nobody to spot any targets, they all disappear. That Helena is much closer now. Biggest threat by far to Chili here. You can see exactly how many hit points Chili's HE shells are taking away from the Helena, and the Helena is very capable of responding in kind. The only problem, of course, is that the Flint has a much shallower hit points pool than the Helena, and in an even trade here, the Helena would probably win. So Chili puts the island between himself and the Helena. And Icarus was spotted coming this way. There he is. Maybe he's trying to get into position to torpedo Chili. I don't know exactly what he's thinking, but he made a severe miscalculation in his strategy, and now he is dead after a single salvo. Enemy Nuremberg, though, appears, giving Chiligames no respite from the incoming damage, and a Dallas is also shooting AP at Chili's broadside. If he's lucky, most of those shells will overpen him, but he doesn't really have the hit points to play around with, and so he goes down with a fire still lit on one of the enemy cruisers, although now it looks like it's put out, so 167,000 damage done. Fantastic result in terms of damage for the Flint. Is that 19 fires set, 8 Defender ribbons, and the Confederate award. So, Chili's pumped out a little bit of damage here. Well, a lot of damage, really. And those torpedoes, they might hit one of those cruisers, but it looks like RNG has trolled Chili here with the 2 torpedoes grouped up in the middle and the other 2 on the flanks, really wide out there. Effectively a wide spread of torpedoes, easy to dodge, and they don't end up hitting either of the enemy cruisers. So, unless this friendly battleship is able to take out all 3 cruisers in the next 4 minutes, this game is looking like a loss. So as far as the carry potential goes with the Flint, it is very much a support cruiser. It is not very good at aggressively pushing in there and being an offensive monster the way that some other cruisers might be, like, say, an Edinburgh or perhaps a Baltimore, Wichita, any of those ships that are more heavily armored and more capable of shrugging off damage. The Flint is certainly not one of those cruisers, very much a support cruiser, limited in its capabilities to deal damage because it relies so much on teamwork to spot, and, not a very good open water HE slinger. Anyway, the 3 enemy cruisers are dogpiling on that last friendly battleship, so he's probably not going to be around for much longer. The game is going to end in defeat, but pretty strong performance, at least in terms of damage and positioning by Chiligamez. Just a shame that his team was not able to, contest more cap circles or come up with a little bit better performance. I think, this is only one sample, but I think if you're taking the Flint out with the intent that you're going to be able to carry a game, I think you're going to find that 99 times out of 100, you're actually not going to be able to carry a game in the Flint, and you're very much there to support your teammates, which is why taking the Flint out in a division might be a bit of a stronger choice. Maybe a Flint and Atlanta combo could be pretty horrific. Who knows? Maybe I can get Chiligamez on a stream and we can try it in the near future. Anyway, again, now that this video is over, be sure to go check out Chiligamez' channel and subscribe. He does a great job and his channel is growing steadily. Go over there and help him out. Hope you liked the video. If so, give it a thumbs up. And, of course, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done that. Look at that, though. 2,200 base XP. More base XP than the winner on the enemy team. So, he must have done something right. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.